Hey there, it's David Breslow back here with you. I am the founder of The Empowered Life and creator of Wired to Win. Today, in this dose of David, I would like to talk to you about coping. Now, I understand and I know that society has taught us that coping is the way to go. So, for example, if you're having an issue in your life, you are told and it is suggested to you that you should find some coping mechanisms. Now, I have a very different take on coping mechanisms. I often tell people when they call me with particular issues that they want to go from point A to point B, that I have no interest in helping them become a better coper. And usually they're taken aback by that a little bit. But here's why I say that. If you look up in the dictionary the word cope, here are the synonyms you will find: to get by, to handle, to deal with, to struggle with, and my all-time favorite, to survive. Now, I ask you, is that really your goal? With any particular bump in the road in your world, is your goal to handle it better, to struggle with it, to survive through it? Well, if that is, in my opinion, that's not very powerful at all. An empowered person doesn't do that anymore. That's one of the beauties of living the empowered life and being an empowered individual. Empowered people don't cope anymore because they now understand that coping leads to mediocrity. That's the phrase that I talk about. Coping leads to mediocrity. Now, what I'm saying now may fly in the face of your belief system or what you've trained yourself to believe. And I'm not saying that coping is bad. I'm saying that coping leads to mediocrity. It doesn't really get you what you want. Now, consider this, please. When you cope with something, think about this. You're coping with it after it already happens, right? So in other words, you're having this flare up in your life. You're having this another poor relationship. You're running low on money again. Your financial life is going up and down and up and down, up and down again. You're having that trouble with your coworker again. You're having that trouble, in the athletic arena again, where you're losing confidence and underperforming, or on the job. You're having the same issues with stress and frustration and poor communication and causing conflict. All these things are happening. So what do you decide to do? The intelligent mind says, which is not very intelligent, by the way, the intelligent mind says, oh, I should go work on these things. I should improve myself in these areas. So what do? You go out to a workshop, you buy a book, you go online, you read articles related to the issue that you're having, and so on and so forth. You gather a whole bunch of tips and strategies and concepts and theories. These are all coping mechanisms, with the idea that if you use them, you're going to get through your situation better. Well, here's the trouble with that, in my opinion. All you're doing is putting out a fire. You're not putting out what's causing the fire. So that fire is going to flare up again. In fact, I'm a little bit well known for asking this particular question. When people call me and kind of dump their situation on me and tell me what's going on, and when they're done, I ask them this very simple question. Do you want more tips and strategies and coping mechanisms to deal with all the stuff you just told me about? Or would you rather have fewer fires to put out? And usually they're taken aback by that question because nobody ever asked them that before. And they're like, what do you mean? Well, it's a simple question. Do you want more ways to deal with the fires in your life you just told me about? Or do you want to have fewer of those fires happen? Pretty simple. Oh, okay. Well, if I had a choice, sure, I'd rather have fewer fires happen. Well, great. Now you can become the empowered person living the empowered life, because the disempowered person continues looking for coping mechanisms to continually deal with all the fires that they're having to put out. Now, here's the mindset behind that. Take it even a little further. Here's the message you're really sending yourself. The message is this: I can't control this. Whatever this thing is going to happen again. I can't stop it. So I better arm myself with a whole bunch of coping mechanisms so that I can deal with it better, so I can handle it better. Do you hear that? Do you hear how disempowering that is? There's no power in that whatsoever. So when you're coping with things, really understand this, please. You're only coping with something after it already happens. why not be in a position to where you can reduce the number of times they happen or even eliminate them? Yes, even eliminate them. That's what the empowered person does. So I'm offering you this insight in this dose of Dave today because I really want you to sit for a moment and think about coping and why it leads to mediocrity. Besides, here's my final point about this. Let's say you walk into a room and somebody's there and you say, "Hey, how you doing today?" And they answer you with like, you know, same day, same troubles, different day, same troubles, different day, stuff like that. A little bit of a kind of a downy way of answering. It's okay. It's all right. Now, do they ever turn around to you with a big smile and go, "Everything's great. I'm coping." Like that? No, they don't do that. Nobody says that with the word coping. The very internal message and energetic vibration of the word coping is kind of it's a low vibration. But once again, the most important thing is, and really consider this, you're only coping with things after they already happen. Why should you? Why should you wait for things to blow up in your life over and over and over and over again? Did you notice that you're coping with pretty much the same kinds of things over and over and over again? Well, you don't have to. The empowered person doesn't do that anymore. The disempowered person is constantly looking for coping mechanisms. Oh, how am I going to deal with this now? Oh, I need a better way to deal with it. Oh, I better get a better book. I need another guru. I should go watch Dr. Phil or Oprah or whatever. Okay. Not that there's anything wrong with these things. I'm not poking fun at them. I'm just suggesting that coping is too late. Why not learn how to design the way you want things to be? Because that's what the empowered person does. And the empowered person doesn't wait for the fires to start to learn how to deal with them better. Think about this. I think you know what I mean. I think you're nodding your head there going, yeah, it makes sense. I just never thought of it that way. I just never knew what to do about it. I don't like coping. Most people don't like having to cope time and time and time and time again. You don't have to. So you really don't have to. So once again, as with all of my Dose of Dave messages, take a look underneath or wherever you're seeing this particular video. You'll see a link to another free training video that's all about the 3 secrets empowered people use to design the life that other people only dream about. That could be you now. So Dave Breslow, thank you so much for listening to this. Please take a serious look at coping and what it really means for you and how you can literally start designing things and creating things instead of coping with things. It really can happen. So Dave Breslow, I look forward to talking to you next time. Take care.